welcome again, my fascinating Renaissance friends, to episode 126. Episodes 120 up to 125 actually was a pause, from what we will continue, okay, that we have started in August, philosophy as a as a practical way of living the good life, to give way to 6 episodes on how to build, lasting, you know, um, lasting relationships, committed relationships, in honor of our 42 years of being together. And I'd like to share with you some of the things that we have learned backed by science. So we talked about the builders, the destroyers, and the principles. No? Okay. I really hope that you resonated with those first 6 episodes, and I have already received some, of the questions and the comments, and I'm very very happy, to put them together, and I will answer them in one episode. So the next 3 to 4 episodes, I will I will continue and then conclude our topic, our theme of philosophy as a beautiful and practical, pragmatic way of living the good life. All right. So, do you have role models, or we can call heroes? Some people would say idols. I'd rather say role models or heroes, not idols. Okay, so I chance upon this statement I read somewhere. You know very well that I read anything, everything. I love reading, and if some things catch my attention, I write it. Right, and I was meditating on this for the past several days, and I said, well, this is wonderful to share. We're still working on me helping you bear your request, how to draft, how to craft your own personal philosophies or guiding principles that will actually help you live a better life, live the good life, la dolce vita. Remember, this is really the very, very reason why my season of life, 60 years and beyond, was created in the first place. Really, is spend the rest of our years on planet Earth, living the best life ever, regardless of the age, okay, that we are in, especially the age we are in, which I call autumn of our life. No? So, it says here, let me read. Your heroes are your blueprints. Okay, study what makes them exceptional, not to become them, but to become who you're capable of being. The point isn't to be a second rate version of your hero. Okay, it's to be a first rate version of yourself with upgraded skills. Right? Learn their system, but keep your soul. Isn't that beautiful? Because, at least me before, when I was much younger, I would already have my own heroes, my own role models. And I try my best to become like them, because I admire them so much. I respect them so much. I look up to them so much. And then I realized I don't actually like everything about them, but certain traits, really. And so I realized I can just develop some of their traits, but not live life exactly like them because I am unique. And precisely to shave, these sentences say what I have discovered through my own thinking process. It's worth repeating, guys. It's worth repeating. Okay. So let me do just that. Okay. Your heroes are your blueprints. You say blueprint, just the blueprint of your house. It is not your actual house, but it tells you, how the house is going to be built. It's actually a plan. You may not understand, that all the dimensions until the house is already built and you say, whoa, this is big, things like that. It's a blueprint. Study what makes them exceptional. That's what you need to do. Not to become them, because you're unique, but to become who you're capable of being. So the point isn't to be a second version, to be a second rate version of them, because there's only one them. Okay, you'll never be them, no matter how how much you try and copy everything, even their mannerisms. You'll never be them. There's only one them, in the same way as there's only one you, there's only one me. Okay, so if we try to be like them, second rate version. But if we continue, to improve ourselves, we will be first rate version of the best that we can be. Okay, learn your system, keep your soul. Okay, I will tell you, I have 5 role models. Okay, well, okay, 5 role models, and the last one is, of course, still living, because all the 5 ones are all dead. Okay, the first is Joseph. Is in the Bible, Joseph, one of the sons of Jacob, who became the governor of Egypt. All right, he was sold to slavery by his brothers, and from there, he just kept on going and going. I Until he is able to to be the second man in whole of Egypt, only after the Pharaoh. But he had to undergo a lot of trials and a lot of tests. I like the way he transcended all the trials, because of his deep faith, in divine justice. Another one is King David, of Israel, because he's just like a normal man with all his flaws. Okay, he did some horrible things, and yet God described him as a man after my own heart, God's own heart, you know. And I saw in him, human frailty, but God saw in him, a heart for him. I also like David, Daniel from the Old Testament, a prophet of God, because he combines brains and conviction. You know, he never he became a first rate member of the king's palace, but he was never stained by paganism and all of that. And of course, the female there is Queen Esther in the Old Testament. She's beauty, brains, and talent, and all of that. God used her, for God used her to save the Jews from annihilation. And of course, the Apostle Paul. Again, he is, very talented, very intelligent, and yet suffered largely for the Lord, for his convictions. If you notice that all of these are from the Bible, and they have something in common, and that is what? A combination of beauty, okay, beauty, handsomeness, because David was handsome. If you look at the Bible, he's described as that, but really the brilliance, the mind. Okay, Well, I have a last role model, and you may not agree with me because some hate him, some love him. His name is Elon Musk. Okay, everybody knows I admire him so much. Yeah, people say he's narcissistic. People say he's this. People say he's crazy. You know, how do you really say a man is crazy when he's the richest man okay on earth now, the first billionaire, and he is according to some Wall Street predictions is going to be the first trillionaire very very soon with AI and everything. Well, I know he has his dark side. He didn't really have a good childhood. He had a terrible childhood, if you're really going to believe all of the things written about him. But I like the man for his foresight, and I like the man for his tenacity. Meaning, every time when he talked about Tesla, the electric vehicle, people laughed at him because it's not gonna fly. But Tesla is one of the top companies. When he talked about SpaceX, people laughed at him because he wasn't even a scientist. He's not even an astronaut. He's not even he's a businessman. He's an engineer in physics. But look at what SpaceX is. It is even being asked by it was asked by the U.S. government to rescue some astronauts lost in space. It's really a company that is he developed the first renewable booster and things like that. Everything started the boring company, Neuralink, all of these companies. It was sheer futuristic, sheer how do you call that, impossible ideas to really create, and people would call him names and they would laugh at him, and he almost declared bankruptcy how many times in SpaceX because his first rockets would always crash back, and yet he never cared about what they thought. He just continued and made all of his dreams come true. And I was listening and then of course now Twitter. He bought Twitter. I said, why would you buy Twitter? And now AI. And I saw a clip. I forgot the man. They asked like, okay, can you choose which is better? Claude and GPT, and he would always say this, but the moment they said, how about GPT and Grok, he would always say, Grok, because you never bet against Elon. That's what they would always say. When they said that Tesla's stocks are plummeting because people didn't like his association with President Trump, and he's heading the Dodge, trimming down excess fat in U.S. bureaucracy, in the federal bureaucracy. So they ganged up at him and burned his Teslas, and people are saying he's going to be poor. He's going to Tesla just gave him 29 billion salary, which is lower than what he was asking, 32, 35 billion. And it's still there. Okay, you cannot put down a man who doesn't really care about being called crazy. How can you put down a man, like that, who will just continue to do and build his dreams and and then succeed. That's why they would always say you never bet against Elon. That's what they said. Now he's my sixth role model. I don't want to be really Elon, but his tenacity, his ability to continue against all odds, that's what I admire in him. And that's what I want to develop in myself. Okay? So I guess you can craft your own personal philosophy from this quote and from all the examples I have given you. Okay, so next episode we'll continue with two more, two more of these ideas, so you can actually have a lot, of material to really build your own philosophy, and then we move on to the next. Okay, so again, who are your role models? You may want to share it with me, and you tell me why. And until then, my friends, this is Malu Cervantes, your life coach, your fellow sojourner. Again, navigating the best years of our life, the autumn of our life, in my season of life. So don't forget to subscribe and like, so that we can continue the conversation. Okay, then, sayonara.